Well, good morning. The day after Christmas is Tom Padula and TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers, bringing you Dante Alighieri's Commedia, the Inferno, and today we're doing a Canto 16. It's an important date because I've changed times from the evening to the day. Because it suits me better in terms of the work that I do during the day. So here we go. What is it going to be today? Well, today is Canto 16, and it's an interesting canto in that this is the last bit of Circle 7. Of the circles of hell, and after this things get even more interesting. The actual chapter deals with two parts. The first part is the continuation of the sins of sodomite and the punishments reserved for these people here, and also some reflections about Dante's own personal stand in terms of how he sees this particular sin, and in terms of two things: the way then justice is meted out from the faith, from the Christian faith, in terms of what they believed at the time. But that particular sin is also shared by people in high positions of influence. Therefore, there's a certain reverence for the people who commit such acts. So that's the way it is there. And then in the latter part of the actual canto, we are moving towards circle number 8. And circle 8 is a very big circle because it involves, it's called Male Bolgia, and the river Flegetonte goes through it. So that's one. Then I'm going to do some of my own poems, and it's about Christmas too. They happen to be Dono di Dentro, Bilancio del Dare, and then Illuminismo. So in other words, gifts from within and the balance of giving and receiving, and of course then the idea of enlightenment. Then finally, I've decided, well, it's Christmas time, so I'm going to reflect on December so far, from my point of view, in terms of how I've sort of partake in a number of activities, in clubs, in the gardens, with food, family, etc. Just a general reflection about this time of the year and how important it is that we all sort of try to make peace with ourselves, reflect on what we do, and also with others as well, hoping that joy, harmony and happiness stays with us, even though there's a lot of challenges in our way, in our life. So basically that's it. So I'm going to show you some pics, photos. Apart from the music this time, even birds, maybe, depend. I'm going to go down my, my accumulated pics and footage. It's incredible how much I've got, but I love it. I absolutely love it because I think it's an important aspect of life. And as a person of history, I enjoy looking back and then reflecting, moving forward as well. So, before I start Canto 16 of Inferno, just a reminder that these lessons now, these presentations, they can be lessons, whatever way you want to look at them, presentations will be done during the day. At 11:25, a.m. to 12:30 p.m. In other words, right in the middle of the day, just before lunch. It's a good time for schools and also people who, and for me too, because I will be at Insegna or working for Insegna at this time in terms of what I do. So don't forget that whatever presentations I make, they're available 24/7 via my Facebook page, my insegna.com and TomPadulaTV.blogspot.com under lessons. So there you are. That's it for this morning. I hope you've had a good lunch yesterday and relaxing today. It's Boxing Day here in Melbourne. And, well, I'm going to start with, not going to go shopping right now, but I'm going to start with Canto 16 of the Inferno. Here we go. Canto 16, ove tratta di quello medesimo girone e di quello medesimo cerchio e di quello medesimo peccato. So, in other words, from Canto 15, it says, this is a continuation of what was happening there. La comprensione degli eventi terreni da parte dei peccatori. So, what happens is that the way hell works is that the people in there, they sort of concentrate on their own sin in their own time. And they can't look, they can look back, they can't look forward. And also, they don't see their own mistakes in terms of the faith, in terms of, the Christian faith. They don't see it that way. They are unaware in a way. And that's a sin. And Dante has to learn through his journey, that justice can be cruel. It's cruel. Can be seen as to be cruel. And he has to be aware of that. That when you mete out justice, it's not a pretty sight sometimes. And that's what happens. And the people involved, maybe they know, but they don't go there. They can't. They're in hell now, so what can they do? Okay, now, I'll just read the notes first so that when I read the actual canto, you'll be aware of it. Okay, so here we go. I peccatori vedono il passato e il futuro, ma non possono vedere il presente. Wow. They can see the future. That's what the note says here. I dannati ricordano il passato e sono in grado di vedere gli eventi futuri, mentre hanno un'immagine confusa del presente. Per questo, come spiega Farinata nel canto 10, dopo il giudizio finale, quando vi sarà più futuro, ma un presente perpetuo, le anime dell'inferno non avranno più alcuna conoscenza, se non quella della propria punizione. So the note says here that when the final judgment comes, there won't be a future, of course. It's a final judgment, the end of all time. And the past, so they'll only be able to concentrate themselves on the sin they committed. Now, there are three other notes. There are three people here who were pretty important people in Florence and who were punished for their sin. The first one is Jacopo Rusticuccio. Jacopo Rusticuccio è colui che parla tra i tre sodomiti in cerchio. There are three of them, and this one here represents them because he talks to Dante. Fu mercante, he was a merchant, cavaliere, knight, e uomo valoroso, very important man. Ricoprì importanti cariche politiche a Firenze. He was a politician and he was also very highly placed in society in Florence at the time. Guido Guerra is the second one. Guido Guerra, fiorentino e guelfo, he was from the Guelph party, fu un importante condottiero, so like a general, da qui il soprannome Guerra, he loved the war. Esiliato dopo la battaglia di Montaperti, 1270, he was exiled in the Battle of Montaperti in 1260, ebbe un ruolo decisivo nella riscossa guelfa alla battaglia di Benevento del 1266. He came back, and in the Battle of Benevento, he actually won for the Guelph part and for Florence, che provocò la caduta definitiva delle fortune dei Ghibellini a Firenze. So, because of the Battle of Benevento, the Ghibellini never came back. And the third one is Tegghiaio Aldobrandi. Tegghiaio Aldobrandi was, come Guido Guerra, fu tra i capitani guelfi che in occasione della battaglia di Montaperti cercarono inutilmente di dissuadere i guelfi dall'attaccare i senesi in campo aperto. This Tegghiaio actually didn't want the battle to occur. But because he was in the Guelph party anyway, he had to fight, and he did a good job, even though he didn't agree with it necessarily. Now, i tre sodomiti corrono in cerchio. Why do they go in circles? So when I read it, you'll see that they run around. Okay? I tre sodomiti fiorentini sono costretti a correre in cerchio attorno a Dante per parlargli, poiché la punizione impedisce loro di stare fermi. The punishment, don't forget, they have to keep on moving in order to be punished with the flames of hell. Il paragone dei tre uomini con lottatori nudi e unti di olio che si contendono la posizione per avere la presa migliore sul proprio avversario sembra un'ulteriore allusione omoerotica. So the image that Dante uses in his poem is that of nude fighters fight each other, and it's sort of an erotic type of image used by Dante to describe these three. Dante prova rammarico per la sorte di questi tre nobili fiorentini, anche se non con la stessa intensità manifestata con i dannati dei primi canti. So Dante still feels a certain, what he called rammarico, a certain sense of being sorry for these two. By the way, welcome Dino and Giuseppe. Dino Lucio Perante and Giuseppe De Luise. Thank you for coming on. It's good to have someone to talk to this morning. L'atteggiamento di Dante verso la sodomia è ambivalente. His attitude is actually ambivalent. A bit like in our society up to the gay rights movement and post as well. It hasn't gone away, I'm sure. In quanto da un lato condanna il peccato, dall'altro putre una profonda ammirazione verso alcuni di coloro che di questo peccato si sono macchiati. Even though they were gays, he still felt a certain admiration for what they represented in life, in Florence, in their time. And we're talking about the third century, 1200 a 1270, in that third part. Because as we know, Florence comes out of these wars by becoming a commercial centre for Italy and Europe. They became very rich. So they were nuovi arrivati, the parvenus. The rich people arrived in Florence, and then Dante, of course, was on the wrong side of the Guelph party. He was exiled as well. So here we go. Questa ambivalenza sarà ancora più evidente nel Purgatorio. This ambivalence. Now, what I've learned so far is that Dante didn't write the poem until after his dream, if you like, his story. In other words, his visit to paradise. So in other words, he wrote, I don't know, how could he have done it? But anyway, how could he have done that? I'm not sure. But some of the notes say that he himself was looking back. But what he wanted to do with his readers was for them to discover the journey that leads from the beginning of hell to the bottom part, to the top part of paradise. And in the middle, of course, you have to purgate, purgatorio. Olio di ricino. you have to take some medicine. In other words, punishments. Okay, so let's start. All right, and I've enjoyed this because I've actually understood it a lot better, this Canto 16, than the previous one, much more clear to me. Here we go, Canto 16. Già era in loco onde s'udia il rimbombo dell'acqua che cadea nell'altro giro, simile a quel che l'arnie fanno rombo, quando tre ombre insieme si partiro, correndo d'una torma che passava sotto la pioggia dell'aspro martiro. So, già era in loco onde s'udia il rimbombo. They could hear the echo of this water. This is the water of the Flagetonte. Flagetonte is the third river of hell. Welcome, Francis Gallo. Thank you for watching. Okay, and three of these souls, they began to walk towards Virgilio and Dante. Venian ver noi e ciascuno gridava, and they were actually shouting. Sostati tu che l'abito ne sembri esse alcun di nostra terra prava. So stop, all you whose feet on the ground from our earth, in other words, from the other world where you come from. We can see that you can put your feet down. So in other words, stop, we want to talk to you. Ahimè, and then Dante reflects, ahimè che piaghe vidi nei lor membri, recenti e vecchie, delle fiamme incese. Oh my God, these people here looked horrid. They were burnt. They had piaghe. They were really badly treated by the sin with their punishment. You know, the burn. We've seen burns, what burns do to humans after fire, and these guys here have to submit to that throughout eternity. Not bad. Ancor men duol pur chi mi rimembra. I'm still, he says, I'm still feeling it, even, when I remember it. Dante still feels it at this point in time. Alle lor grida il mio dottor s'attese. So, at their shouts, my doctor, in other words, Virgilio, volse il viso ver me, turned towards me, because he always walks forward, in front of Dante. E or aspetta, disse, now you wait, he said, a costor si vuole essere cortese. You have to be kind, essere cortese, in other words, cortesia, what the knight's supposed to have, this higher moral ground, in other words, wait for these people, they deserve your respect, la tua cortesia, from a human point of view, because don't forget, Virgilio is not Christian, he's from the past. E se non fosse il fuoco che saetta la natura del loco, io dicerei che meglio stesse a te che a lor la fretta. So in other words, and if it wasn't for the fire of hell, etc., I would say to you, che meglio stesse a te, it's better for you che a lor la fretta. In other words, wait for them, just listen to what they have to say, give them a chance. Ricominciare come noi restammo, è l'antico verso, e quando a noi fuor giunti fenno una rota di sé tutti e tre. So in other words, what happened here was then they went back to the three, and the three of them formed a little circle, and they had to keep on moving. Okay? Qual sogliono I campion far nudi e unti, and this is the description here of the three. Nudi e unti, oiled and naked. Qual sogliono I campion far nudi e unti, avvisando lor presa e lor vantaggio, prima che siano tra lor battuti e punti, così rotando ciascuno il visaggio, drizzava a me, sicché incontrare il collo faceva ai piedi continuo viaggio. So if they were going around, their heads were going around too. So whilst they were speaking, they sort of kept on turning. se miseria d'esto loco solo rende in dispetto noi e i nostri pieghi, cominciò l'uno. One of them started to speak. E il tinto aspetto è brollo, and their aspect, the way we look. La fama nostra, il tuo animo pieghi a dirne chi tu sei, che i vivi piedi così sicuro per lo inferno freghi. So I said, just we want to know who you are, and you must know about us, la fama, our fame. Carmela, Paris, Eduardo, thank you for coming on. Questi l'orme di cui pestar mi vedi, tutto che nudo e di pelato vada, fu di grado maggior che tu non credi. Nepote fu della buona Gualdrada. Guido Guerra ebbe nome e in sua vita fece col senno assai e con la spada. With his mind and with his sword, he did a lot. So this is Guido Guerra. So he was in war. L'altro che appresso me l'arena trita e Tegghiaio Aldobrandi, la cui voce nel mondo su dovria essere gradita. And if you look up these words on Professor Google's, they might come up anyway, and I'll give you the story of more details than I can give you now. E io che son con loro in croce, again this reference to Christ on the cross, the suffering that they have to go through, but without the salvation. Jacopo Rusticucci fui e certo la fiera moglie più che altro mi nuoce. So he had a bad wife and everyone knew about it. Ok, se fossi stato dal fuoco coperto, gittato mi sarei tra loro di sotto e credo che il dottor l'avria sofferto. Ma perch'io mi sarei bruciato e cotto, vinsi paura la mia buona voglia che di loro abbracciarmi faceva ghiotto. So he had a great desire, Dante, to go under them and sort of go and hug them, because he was meeting some very important people who lived just before him, who had this this aura of knighthood about them. But he didn't do it, of course. Why? Because his fede cristiana would stop him now, because he's moved on. Dante moves on. He's been to paradise. He looks backwards and he says, well, these people here, they deserve what they get, even though they were important in life. Easy. Poi cominciai io, di started. Non dispetto, ma doglia la vostra condizione dentro mi fisse, tanta che tardi tutto si dispoglia. Tosto che questo mio Signor mi disse parole per le quali io mi pensai che qual voi siete tal gente venisse. So he says, I can see your condition, and I sort of, I'm sort of wanting to talk to you because my Signor, Virgilio, told me to give you the maximum attention. You deserve la cortesia. Di vostra terra sono, I am from where you come, e sempre mai l'ovra di voi e gli onorati nomi con affezione ritrassi e ascoltai. So I listened to, I heard your names, and I have great affection for these memories. Lascio lo fele e vo per dolci pomi, promessi a me per lo verace duca, ma infino al centro pria convien chi tomi. Lascio lo fele e vo per dolci pomi, promessi a me per la verace duca, ma infine al centro pria convien che i tomi. So in other words, I better remain where I am because I can't come with you guys. And so the soul's reply. Se lungamente l'anima conduca le membra tua, rispose quelli ancora, e se la fama tua dopo te luca, cortesia e valor di sé dimora se la nostra città siccome suole, o se del tutto se ne gita fora. So he says, and they can look at the future, he says, if your soul, and whatever you do in life now, will lead you to receive fame like we have, okay? and you will have light. In other words, people will remember you as well, Dante Alighieri, like they do us now. And don't forget that it's very important to have cortesia e valore. In other words, a bit like Machiavelli says, virtù e fortuna. But in this case, yeah, cortesia refers more to the knights of the Round Table, literally, in that time. That's when they were formed. So, you know, this was right across Europe. They had cortesia, la donna gentile, you know, being kind and generous towards others and doing good things. Okay, but they didn't do it. They do it for their own fame. They didn't do it for l'alto signore up there. They do it for themselves. That's why the punishment came, because they didn't step up. They remained where they were, so they conducted themselves. Cortesia loro si dimora, ma la nostra città siccome suole, o se del tutto se ne gita fuori. In other words, they can see that there's trouble in Florence, and they say to themselves, okay, there might be trouble there, but you know, remember us to them, even though there's trouble there, obviously. Che Guglielmo Borsiere è quello dei soldi, no? Il qual si duole con noi per poco e va là coi compagni, assai ne cruccia con le sue parole. So the banker had left him, you know, in their time, they were sort of secondary, but they left this valore cortesia to join the new parvenus who made money. From a human point of view, that's that's very understandable. Okay. Dante replies, just a little note here, look, la gente nuova, the parvenu, e i subiti guadagni, è quello che guadagnano, in other words, and the quick money that they earn. Orgoglio e dismisura ingenerato, they become proud and arrogant, like you wouldn't believe. Firenze in te, sì che tu già ten piagni. Poor Florence, you will pay for this. You're already paying for it. In fact, Dante paid for it pretty well straight away. Così gridai, so he shouted this, la gente nuova e i subiti guadagni, orgoglio e dismisura, eccetera. That sort of tone. Così gridai con la faccia levata, e i tre che ciò ti intesero per risposta, they understood what I said. They could see, said, well, you know, we were right about Firenze, even though we are in hell, we know about them. Guardano l'un l'altro come al versiguata. Ok? So they looked at each other. Se l'altre volte si poco ti costa, risposero tutti, il satisfare altrui felice te si parli a tua posta. So in other words, però se campi d'esti luoghi bui e torni a rivedere le belle stelle, quando ti gioverà dicere i fui, fa che di noi alla gente favella. So they said, if when you come back, you know, you go back and il satisfare altrui felice, and you become, you know, when you write, etc., talk about us in good terms. Okay, I've seen them, I've seen what they've done, they're being punished, but poor them, okay? Fa che di noi alla gente favela. Speak about us to them. And isn't that what we want when it's all said and done? Do we want to be remembered? And how we're going to be remembered? Some people have worked in schools, they'll be remembered by their children. Some people write, they'll remember their writing. Some people build buildings, as long as the buildings are up, they'll remember. Otherwise, somebody photographs them, they can talk about them later. And I'm doing that in my history lesson right now by talking about Harap and the Indus Valley. That's coming on Thursday at this same time. I'll be doing world history, and I'm doing the Indus Valley at the moment. Very interesting stuff from the Indus Valley. A lot more to be discovered from that place. Ok. Indi rupper la rota, they broke, e a fuggirsi ali sembiar le gambe loro in snelle. And they flew off back to where they belonged. Don't forget, these are sodomites. They have to stay with their own group in hell. Ok? Un amen non saria possuto dirsi tosto così come fuori spariti, perché al maestro parve di partirsi. So I could see that, I couldn't even say un amen, because my guida, Virgilio, was already walking down, and io lo seguiva, and he had moved himself. So the three souls went one way, and Dante went further down. And he could hear Flegetonte, the river. E pochi eravamo iti che il suono dell'acqua n'era sì vicino che per parlare saremmo appena uditi. And it was so strong, like in a cascade, the cascade. And exactly the abyss went really further down, because now we're approaching Canto 17, which is the beginning of Male Bolge. In other words, a really big circle of hell, the eighth circle of hell, where all the sinners are. And we'll go through them. And that will last for 10, 12, 13, 14. We'll stay in that Male Bolge for a long time, until almost the end, when we got to circle 9, where the devil is. So there are 9 circles of hell in Dante's Inferno. Ok. Come quel fiume che ha proprio cammino prima dal Monte Viso in ver levante dalla sinistra costa d'Appennino, che si chiama Acqua Cheta, Suso, avante che si divalli giù nel basso letto e a forlì di quel nome vacante, rimbomba là sovra San Benedetto dell'Albe per cadere a luna scesa, ove dovria per 1000 essere. So he refers here exactly, he refers here to a place in around Perugia, Forlì, Toscana, that central part of Italy, where there is a big cascade somewhere. Acqua Cheta, they call it. Okay, before I go any further, I want to read a little note, otherwise we won't understand all this. But let me finish just this bit here. Rimbomba la sovra San Benedetto dell'Alpe per cadere ad una scesa, ove dovria per 1000 essere recetto. Così giù d'una ripa discoscesa trovammo risonar quell'acqua tinta, sicché in poco avria l'orecchia offesa. So, I've been speaking too long. So this, we're talking about l'acqua tinta, the Flegetonte, all the rivers of hell. They haven't got clear waters. It's blood there everywhere. Anyway, la corda e l'onza. Now, Dante is wearing a cord around his waist. Sort of a reference to St. Francis of Assisi. Okay. And here, let's have a look at the note. Virgilio chiede a Dante di togliersi la corda che porta intorno alla vita. Dante acconsente. Virgilio cala la corda nel dirupo per chiamare il mostro Gerione. Dante rivela di aver pensato di catturare la lonza del canto prima con quella stessa corda. So, that cord around his waist, he's had it all along. And that means it's an exhortation to be humble and kind in life. That's what St. Francis' message was. Now, this time here, Virgilio says, give me that cord. He's got to drop it in the abyss, so that there's a monster called Gerione. Gerione has got the face, a human face, but the rest of the body is that of a serpente, of a huge snake. Okay, and he got three of them. Here we go. Dante rivela di aver pensato di catturare la lonza. La lonza, don't forget, it's the political part. It's not la lupa and it's not il leone. La lonza represents local politics, Firenze. So he thought he had captured the lonza, but he didn't. Poiché le tre fiere erano un ostacolo insuperabile, senza il soccorso prestato da Virgilio, la corda potrebbe rappresentare un eccesso di fiducia nei propri mezzi. So this represents un eccesso di fiducia in your own means. In other words, without divine interference, without the divine faith, it keeps on coming back to that. The human part cannot go much, can only go so far, not over. Si spiegherebbe allora perché Gerione, che impersona il comportamento fraudolento, ne sia attratto. Il legame tra la lonza e Gerione, accomunati anche dalla pelle chiazzata, rafforza inoltre l'idea di chi vede anche nella prima fiera un simbolo della frode. Fraud, big sin. People chase money. They can lie and they can do all sorts of things in order to get what they want materially. I monaci francescani indossavano una corda grezza attorno alla vita per domare la bestia selvatica. So the Franciscan friars wore this corda in order to domare, to dominate la bestia selvatica, the beast in us that leads us to that, nel proprio corpo. In questa chiave la corda sarebbe un simbolo di fede e pudicizia. Gerione allora non ne sarebbe attratto, ma sarebbe costretto a obbedire a quel segnale come un comando. So Gerione is not attracted by this, but he must obey. It's a divine interference in hell. The cord, represents that divine humility. Okay, let's go on. Io aveva una corda intorno cinta e con essa pensai alcuna volta prendere la lonza alla pelle dipinta. Poscia che io l'ebbi tutta da me sciolta, siccome il duca m'aveva comandato, porsila a lui aggruppata e ravvolta. So you can understand this in modern Italian. Ond'ei si volse in ver lo destro lato e alquanto di lunge dalla sponte l'agitò giuso in quel burrato. Ok, threw the cord down. E pur convien che novità risponda, dicea fra me medesimo, e al nuovo cenno che il mastro con l'occhio si seconda. Ahi, quanto cauti gli uomini essere dienno presso a color che non veggion pur l'ovra, ma per entro i pensier miran col senno. This is a bit, I've gone over time, but I have to keep going. So, in other words, Dante didn't understand, Virgilio knew, the cord is thrown down, the actual, the Gerione, the monster, is like un rospo, like a frog. He's sort of swimming on air. E disse a me, tosto verrà di sovra ciò che io intendo e il tuo pensier sogna, tosto convien che al tuo viso si scovra. So, soon you will see all this. Dante? Sembra quel ver che affaccia di menzogna, dell'uomo chiudere le labbra fin che il puote, però che senza colpa fa vergogna. Ma qui tacer non posso, e per le note di questa commedia, lettor, ti giuro, s'ella non sien di lunga grazia vote, chi vidi per quell'area grosso e scuro venir notando una figura in suso, maravigliosa ad ogni cor sicuro, siccome torna colui che va giuso talora a solver l'ancora grappa o scoglio altro che nel mare è chiuso, che in su si stende e da pie si rattrappa. This is an exclamation of how the cord causes Gerione to swim to the top, and he says, but it's so dark that I can't see anything at all. but this chord allows him slowly then to see Geriona. Faccia umana, in other words, but the rest of his body is beast. So it's a monster. It gives you one face, but does something else. Isn't that what fraud is about? And lies accompany fraud. And that's how Dante sort of tries to make us journey through our own way of looking at the idea of not following, not following material things. But don't forget though, Dante had admiration for the people who had money. But he had more admiration for people who had cortesia e valore. So, and then he recognized in the people who had money that they could go astray. And then how do you pick them up again? Well, he picked them up by teaching them, by giving them the journey. It says, listen, you guys, this is the true path. Dante was ideological, I'm telling you. It's worth reading this. Okay, well, I've finished for now. And of course, my computer, oh no, it's on. That's good. Okay, that's good. Now, I've finished this part here, Canto 16. We'll be doing Canto 17 next Sunday, same time, 11:25 to 12:30. This is the new time for Dante Alighieri and TomPadula at this time. We'll continue with Dante Alighieri, La Divina Commedia. And I intend to do the whole lot. So that's my intention. Pretty ambitious, 100 canto. How many? It's almost 2 years. Have I got ambition of living? Okay, now we got to my book, Amica Poesia. And these are available from Insegna. And you don't even have to buy them. You can go on my blog spot and they're all there in ebook form, and also I read them out as well. You know, if you want a copy to keep close to your heart, you have to buy it or come around and buy some other books and I'll give it to you for free. I can give my stuff for free. Why should people buy it? Not really. Okay, Dono di dentro. This is one of my poems. Cos'è che noi possiamo donare di noi stessi agli altri? Che cosa abbiamo nel bagaglio delle nostre valigie piene di esperienze, di contenuti, di idee espresse e tante, ma tante altre sommesse? Quando ci chiediamo dove possiamo noi trovare la felicità, la soddisfazione, sicuramente sentiamo nel nostro intimo la presenza di quella umanità che vibra fuori dalla nostra esistenza, come una massa da conoscere per farci conoscere meglio. I think this needs a bit of explanation too. Sì, l'atto di donare, di fare per gli altri, è la necessità di sentire le varie reazioni, a volte positive, in altre negative, che il nostro operato acquista fra la gente. Le intenzioni sono sempre buone? È quello che gli altri hanno veramente di bisogno? O è quello che tu vuoi per poi imporre sugli altri le tue preferenze, i tuoi modi di fare? La nostra creatività ci insegna a volte tante cose varie che normalmente ci sono escluse durante la vita quotidiana. I'm not going to explain this because this twin text is available in English as well. Ok? Quando vogliamo dare dobbiamo imparare a riflettere su quel che diamo e perché, in quello che gli altri di noi in verità hanno bisogno per rendere la loro vita più ricca, più varia e più piena di felicità. Quando noi vogliamo dare, dobbiamo imparare a sentire di ricevere in modo uguale lo stesso che noi doniamo. So you have to give in the same manner that you receive. That's the idea. And that comes to my next poem, Il bilancio del dare, the balance of giving. Se offendi, dovresti essere offeso. Se ti offendono, dovresti imparare ad offendere. Questo è il naturale bilancio dei sentimenti. And here Dante would approve, or some friends would say, perdona. È necessario essere chi sa ricevere senza dare e sa dare senza ricevere. To be one or the other. It's a necessity. La vera grandezza la troverai nella tua propria vera umiltà di accettare o donare con dignità. Like the Franciscan fathers, they would accept the bread, didn't matter who gave it to them. They would thank you very much, and then they would give it to other people in the same manner. So where did I get these ideas from? I don't know, I just wrote them. Boom. Illuminismo. Lavoriamo, diamo piacere e giochiamo, cerchiamo la verità, diciamo bugie, siamo diversi, rimaniamo separati. Scopriamo gli altri, li troviamo simili, ma non proprio. Guardate la differenza. È difficile da rispettare. Preghiamo per illuminazione. So all these diverse things, you have to pray to be. I should really read English, shouldn't I? Do I have time? 12:11. But I'm not sure whether I've got the book here. If I have it, I'll read it to you. Yes, I have it. I haven't done this. Now, what page was it? What page was it? Page 35. Okay, let's have a look. Gift from within. There you are. Got twin texts. Yeah? You look at one, and then you look at the other, and you got them there. Okay. What can we give of ourselves to others? What do we have in the luggage of our suitcases full of experiences, of content, of expressed ideas, and so many others submerged? When we ask ourselves, where can we find happiness, satisfaction? Surely we feel in our intimate self the presence of that humanity that vibrates outside of our existence like a mass to get to know, in order to make us know better. Yes, the act of giving, to do for others, is the necessity to feel various reactions, at times positive, sometimes negative, that our work gains amongst the people. Are the intentions always good? Is it what others really have need of? Or is it that which you want to them, or is it that which you want to then impose on others your preferences, your ways of doing? And I've seen it on this one many times when I've always tried to force my knowledge on other people, and people say, no, Tom. And that was my intention. Now I've freed myself of that. Se volete imparate, se non volete, sono affari vostri. Okay. Our creativity teaches us sometimes so many varied things that normally are excluded from us during our daily life. Oh, well, a couple more people have come. Angela, welcome back. Thank you for coming in. When we want to give, we must learn to reflect on what we give and why, in that which others from us in reality have need to make their life more rich, more varied, and more full of happiness. When we want to give, we must learn to feel, to receive in the same equal manner that which we are giving. So when you give, when you receive, you have to feel in the same way. It's an important consideration. So sometimes, what are our intentions? They're important. The balance of giving. If you offend, you should be offended. If they offend you, you should learn to offend. But in some philosophies, in Christian philosophy, don't offend back. Accept it. That's a harsh one. Whereas some other religion don't. No, it's more just. They say, they offended them, tagli la testa. In the same way. You can't accept it. But Christ on the cross, he was born yesterday. Don't worry about what they do to you, but look what happened to him. But that's a sacrifice. Humans are not like that. Very rare you find in history. There aren't many other people who've done that. It's necessary to be who knows how to receive without giving and knows how to give without receiving. Oh, by the way, no, I was wrong. The early Christians in the Colosseum, they started to sing when they were being eaten up or killed or whatever. So there are examples of people who, forgive others who are doing bad to them. True greatness you will find in your own real humility to accept or give with dignity. So you got to be kind and nice, but okay, enlightenment, that's what we need, huh? Don't we need that? We work, we please and play, we seek the truth, we lie, we differ, we stay apart. We discover others, we find them similar, but not so. Behold the difference. It's hard to respect. People do separate from us. We pray for enlightenment. There we are. On that note, well, I've done more than I thought, both in English and Italian, which is good for me. Very good. And now I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to show you some pictures. So be patient now, because here comes me. Here we are. Where will I start? At the beginning of December, or middle of December, well, beginning of December, I went to, well, I've done a few things really, looking back, I've gone to a club, for a dance. Then I sort of have been practicing with Dora Marquez and doing a bit of singing. Then, interestingly enough, sometimes there are some birthdays, and I'll show you one of the cakes. I'll show you three things. I'm not going to show who they are, I'm just going to show you the cakes. Here we are. It's a nice piece of, yeah, that's a good way to start. Anyway, enjoy it, this virtual eating. Next one, this is called zeppole, okay? Very nice, aren't they? The next one is a cake. Aren't they beautiful? So much talent. And that's the one with the candle, one candle. Okay. Now, I'm going to, because I have to go through some of these things. Then, that was important. Then there is also some food that, I enjoy with, certain people that I know. This one's here. Okay, so that's, look at that, beautiful vegetable together. And this was another one, beautiful. And that's a nice salad, green salad. Green salad again. Fruit, whoa. And these are called livers. And they go very well even with the vegetables and the salad. Very good. Okay, see, I've got a lot of stuff there. All right, now, the next one, sometimes, oh, no, I can't show those. Well done. This is another cake. here. Let me go. Have a look at this masterpiece. Look at that. I'm surrounded by a lot of very, very talented people. And that's the third one. That's another cake. Now, let me see. Okay, so we got that. Then, interesting enough, where was I? Oh, yeah. Now, this is going to be beautiful. This was for a communion. So, some of the food here. Okay? This is a kitchen, this was a formal thing. All right, let me have a look. How many have we got here? Okay, yes. There we are. That was the kitchen in a particular place. And then this was the preparation for 50 people. There you are. Lasagna. Enjoy it. Oh, welcome, Maria. There you are. Must recognize this ones. Are we lucky to have all this? How's this, huh? Well, you can order this sort of stuff as well. Our caterers do a wonderful job, honestly. Look at that. The fish. Beautiful. Nice. Chicken cutlets. Look at that. Very different from my singing. Bread rolls. Nice and fresh. Buon appetito. Oh, this one is a bit different. I should have edited this the other way around. But they are polpette, no? In sugo. More of the same. Oh, what an incredible look. And that was the way it looked. There you are. I'm ready to kick ass with my new knee. That's a good one. That's okay. So, here we go. That was another one that was incredible too. There was a lot of people there too, which we enjoyed. We enjoyed this very much. And of course, you know, you can't have, where do we go? I've got something else here. Where are we? Oh, no. Oh, well, never mind. Then I've done I've done these particular lessons. And then there was more food, but this time in a different setting. And I'll just show you the setting, and then I'll show you some of the food. Okay, the setting was here. There you are. Isn't that beautiful? In a park. Okay? So in the park. And, you know, maybe a bit more. Oh, no? What else do I get here? More food. More food. We want to see the food? Yes, here we go. From here to there. Okay. Oop. Oh. There we are. This was in the park. You have to protect things from the mosquitoes. And then finally they uncovered them. more or less, you know, same as, and it's a famous pizza, of course. Beautiful. Okay. Now, well, you haven't had enough of food, have we? You need to have the Christmas one too. But before that, I went to Angela and Dora's place, and they have a beautiful garden. Look at this. The way Angela, this is La Ginestra from Basilicata region. Okay, and Angela was an absolute artist. Look at this. In the garden. This is Angela Marchese, the one who used to play the fisarmonica. Such talent all around. Fig tree. Lucano, see that? Lucano. Amazing. Enjoying that? I just see tre maggi. Normally, in this particular place, you would make another presepio. He's got a lot of presepio, but this one here was right in the corner. And then his angel. Look at that. And the asino, see? Anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else for that one. Oh, of course there was. There you are, that's the one. Okay, so that's a good one too. Now, let's see, what else can I show you that's just beautiful? That's just beautiful. Wow. Wow. Maybe I'll go a bit further up. Wait a minute. Sorry. But we're going down slowly but surely. And, you know, you got to get... Now, the other thing too that's really interesting here is the following. These are some pictures that, you know, you pick up from old... Here they are. Look at it. How's that? Beautiful. Happy Christmas to you. And then we go, this I didn't cut the grass. And those, look at that. Those beautiful flowers, grass. And they, look how beautiful it is. And at night, the lights, I've got, you know, Christmas lights, they light up each one of those flowers. Amazing. And these are the ones. Look at that. You wouldn't believe we're in the middle of Brunswick here. And also the fruit. And by the way, the birds having a feast on these ones here. I did not even have one of these because the parakeets, the bats, they've all raided them. I thought people had come to get them. But it was the birds. So I didn't see any of these. But these ones are still growing. Flowers. That's Melbourne for you. There you are. And then, of course, some people came to the shop to buy some books. There we are. And I said I would promise them that I'll put them in my... That's Eduardo De Filippo over there. Person, you know, Il Segno di Attila. Good books. And in the end, oh, what on? Here. Jamaica, it's been a real pleasure today.
Thank you.
Coming in and selecting quite a few books. You're from Neapolitan background.
I am.
And your Italian needs a bit of improvement.
It does.
but these are presents for Christmas.
Yes.
So I'm very happy that Insegna is finally getting the message out there.
It is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Buon Natale,
Buon Natale.
E un felice anno nuovo.
Thank you.
Grazie, piacere di averti incontrato.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
I can put that in. Why not? Because that's part of it. And that was then there was another lot here, a bit more food, but just a little bit here. There you are. It's a nice one, nice plate. Next one, look at that. And then more Giuseppe Ungaretti. That's a bit of Italian literature. There's another happy customer. Here we are. And I said to her, we won't see each other for a long time, so why not say a few words? Okay, so here we go. Elisa or Elise, thank you very much for coming and choosing Ungaretti for your grandfather.
Yeah.
For your nonna. Tell me your interest, your background.
So I'm Dutch and Italian, first generation Australian.
Parli italiano?
Sort of, but not enough to...
Do you want to impararlo?
I do want to learn more.
So I've shown you my lessons. Right?
Yes, you have.
And what did you think? What you saw?
I liked it because it was very basic and easy to understand, and it reminded me of when I was learning Italian as I was younger. So it was kind of like a reintroduction.
It is a reintroduction, and I hope that you will take it up and watch my lessons. And when you've done a few, don't forget, one lesson at a time. They're going to take you a month at least to capture it. So we'll get to the level that you want, and then come back to me.
All right, we'll have a conversation.
Ciao Elisa, ci vediamo. Buon Natale e buon anno. Ciao ciao. On that note, I should really finish, shouldn't I? Yes, I will finish there. But I've enjoyed doing this today with you. So thank you very much for staying on. Grazie. You can watch this again, of course, in a few minutes. I'll put it on my Facebook page. And that's it. There'll be another class now on Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then it'll be the new year. So more to come. I might continue like this and show a few things that I do. Okay, grazie mille again from Tom Padula, TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Ciao.